McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
What is good with it, my wealthy people? It is your boy, David Bellard, founder CEO of Black Wealth Renaissance. I'm here with my brother from another, Jalen. What's happening, brother?
What's good? What's good? What's good, my brother? Top of the morning to you,
Top
man.
of the morning, man.
I'm doing
feeling
great.
Good. Yeah.
You know, we recorded a little bit earlier than what we would normally be.
But you like that, huh?
Yeah, a hell of a lot earlier. For those who don't know, it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. But we
what
had
they say. What the saying is, early bird get the worm, man.
I'm telling you.
Look, I'm loving it. The energy is there. The pod is there. And y'all already know we got another great episode for y'all. BWR Podcast. Y'all know we always about providing value. This is a guest that he's been on the show before, guys.
Blockbuster.
Amazing episode. Him and his wife, dynamic duo. The episode of Marriage and Real Estate went crazy. I think it was our top episode of last year. So we had to get this brother back on the show so that we can go ahead and get a part 2 and start talking about how we can get brothers into these houses, man. Because this man is on a mission. Did you see the statistic?
You're talking about brothers in the houses. Did you know? Black women are outpacing black men for home ownership in the U.S.
This man was the one that brought it back to my attention, and I was like, "Oh, this is definitely a conversation worth having." So, guys, we have father, husband, builder, owner of Park Street Homes. They done took a company, a real estate company, public, and start helping other people invest as well. We have none other than Mr. Kevan Shelton. Kevin, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. Welcome back, man. It's not even just a thank you. It's a welcome back, man. Brother. It's like you're a friend of the show now. We just happy to have you.
I'll take it. No, we definitely enjoyed our last episode. Of course, I think the message was very clear. Everybody kind of got it. It's like you could work with your team or you could not. I know it was controversial in a lot of ways, but, it actually goes into what we're talking about today, whether it's business ownership or even black men buying houses. That's the kind of crux of it all. Is like either you getting it or you're not getting it, So people got to understand this is much bigger than just, what you see on the internet or whatever. These go into real life things. So yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Definitely.
Once again, welcome back, my brother.
Thank you.
So just getting right into it, Kevin. I mean, if y'all don't know this man, I gave him an introduction. I need y'all to go back and listen to the first episode with him and his wife. Phenomenal if y'all don't know him. So just getting right into it, Kevin, man. I before we get into the men buying houses conversation, you guys took your company public.
We did. And I think we were working on it, or at least the beginning stages when we last talked about it. And it was a hell of a process. So, taking a company public, which, I want to set the stage. So in 2012, President Obama changed the rules where smaller companies can go public through Reg CF, which is Regulation Crowdfund. So people see Series A, people see Series D, and there's a lot of various ways that companies can offer stock. Well, one of those ways that smaller companies can do it is called Regulation CF. So if you've seen Fanbase and what Isaac Hayes III has been doing, well, they're one of the largest companies to do it, one of the largest Black-owned companies to do it. So we took our company public that way through StartEngine, and it was a very, very intensive process of auditing and reporting, and we got through all of that so that now people can buy our stock actually on StartEngine.com. So this basically gives people access to buy shares in a company like you would Microsoft or Facebook. You can buy shares in Park Street Homes just the same way.
What was the catalyst for that? What made you guys say, hey, let's take this public? Was it a liquidity thing, or was it just like, hey, we want to give people access to what we're doing with our company?
So I think it was two things. It was access and it was scale. right? So we'll talk about the access piece. We don't come from money. So our friends and family, when we were doing private-based investments, our minimum investment was $25,000. And the hard part, my mama couldn't, invest with us or whatever, right? Like literally it was a very high bar for a lot of our community. So we wanted to find a way that we could get our community invested in our company without it being such a high bar. Yeah. And the benefit of what we did is the minimum investment was $500. So, and $500 is still a lot of money for a lot of people, but the reality of the situation is way more people have access to $500 than $5,000, $10,000, $25,000. So that was the first piece, access. Second piece is scale. And we can talk a little bit more about this, but right now, we have never seen housing affordability as low as it is right now, right? And we all kind of feel that, right? Where interest rates are high, construction costs is high, inventory low. People don't have the same opportunities that they did back in the day. And since World War II, and we can go into the history of it, we've never had as many people who need houses. There's about a 7 million home shortage. Yeah. And it's never been more expensive. So houses have never cost as much as they do now. So how do we scale what we do right here in Texas across the country and take advantage of some of these opportunities? And we've been able to create a wealth of opportunity and relationship through everything from affordable housing to what we do on the custom side, and take advantage of some of these areas that people weren't looking at, right? So like the areas that we build, your average big builder isn't touching. Why? Because they're typically in the city, they typically have a little bit more red tape, and maybe it's something that's just not worth their time. For us, we're not only creating jobs and housing in the communities that we love so dear, call it the hood or whatever, here in these urban cities, but we're also giving inventory to a group of people like us, millennials, that did not have access to housing. And for us, it was the same thing. When we were looking for a house, there were no houses. So us scaling that, and what we found is people across the country need that same access. So we want to scale our company to do that. And we think raising capital is one of the easiest ways to do that, because now we can take Park Street across the country, and we already have some opportunities across the country, but we want to become one of the largest providers of affordable workforce and infill homes across the country.
It's a lot of things in there.
You mentioned that too. I'm just thinking back to our first conversation. I remember whenever we were talking about it, you and Aisha were talking about expanding past Texas, and now it's good to see that mission is coming about this way. And what I'm thinking about when I see this crowdfund, it gives exposure to equity, right? Because just keeping it frank, $500 isn't going to change your life, right?
Nope.
But what it does is give you exposure to that asset class. Now, with these crowdfunds, isn't there like a limit that people can invest in it?
So,
like annually or something like that?
So it's for everybody, and if you're non-accredited, you can invest about 10% of your net worth or income, right? So let's say for the average family, our average investment size is probably about $1,000.
Okay.
But it really just depends on where you are, right? Because the more money you make, the more you can invest, the more people do invest. So, you make a couple $100,000 or $100,000, you invest 10,000, stuff like that. You're right about it. It's not life changing, but what it does is it starts the process of changing your mindset of equity investing.
So it is mind changing. It is life changing.
Yeah. Because now you have the opportunity to invest in early stage companies, and that's how these people are growing wealthy. Kevin Hart had a clip, and he talked about not investing in Uber, right? Because it came in, I think it was like $50,000 or something. He's like, man, I was like, I don't want to do that.
Like in the private round, put it in public.
Exactly.
Think if you'd have invested
and now that $50,000 is worth several million, tens of millions, right? These are the type of opportunities that other people have access to that Black people traditionally don't have access to. So when we talking about closing the wealth gap, it starts with, where's your money go? We spend $500 on a belt, $500 on a pair of jeans.
Talk about it.
But we don't spend $500 investing in something that when it hits, it goes to the moon. And that's the difference.
Even spend $500 to bet on a sport play.
Look, sports play is like a thing now, man.
Yeah.
Everybody doing the sports.
we was just talking about that on the most recent episode.
I saw that. I saw it talking about
man.
like the gamification of sports bet.
It's crazy with the sports betting, but like with these crowd funds, I do think it's a good way to get people into investing. I think about even like with the stock market. People often, they're like averse to it because they look at it as like, oh, I'm putting my money up for a risk. I wonder why is that? Like, why don't you see it as risky to spend your money on bullshit versus invest your money into something?
Because bullshit feels good right now. And investment's a very long-term thing, right? Like, I can't tell you that tomorrow Park Street's going to pay you $50,000 because you invested $500. But if you go spend $500 at the strip club or you go spend $500 on some jeans, you feel good right now.
You get an instant gratification. Exactly. And then you also get the attention that comes with that thing, right? You'll get whoever's paying attention. Oh, man, I like that belt. I like them jeans. Or you get the stripper. You like the feeling, that sensation. Yep. So you get that instant gratification. So I can see why people would be like that. Coming from a person who used to be like that, like until my mindset changed, like I used to buy stuff. I used to be like, oh man, I'm fresh, I'm clean. Like people can't tell me nothing. But it's once you start to realize and you understand the value of things. I think that's the biggest part is people don't understand what true value is, what true wealth is. That belt, it can deteriorate in the next 2-3 years, right? But this stock, if I made the right selection, it could take care of me till I'm 60, 70 years old.
And that's how people done it, right? So you think about people who had old Exxon stock, old Chevron stock. I remember we went to and this could be a funny story. So we went to this big breakfast for business owners at this bank, which is it's a community bank here, but it was started by 5 families, right? So $1 billion market cap bank. We're in this room with the CEO, whatever, and it's all white people. We're literally the only 2 black people, or actually the only 2 black customers. There's several black employees there, but we're the only 2 black customers. And they're all telling these stories of success. In the same room, literally the owner of the Texan Sun is there, who's married to the owner of the biggest real estate company in town, his daughter, right? So talk about money. All these people are together, right? So the owner of the Texan Sun is married to these are families. Owner of the Texans, owner of one of the biggest real estate companies in this private kind of banking, whatever. And they're all telling these stories of success. And one of the guys that gets up, he's a super duper millionaire apartment investor. He tells a story about starting off from his bootstraps, right? And he's like, man, I had no money. All I had was these old stock certificates that my grandmother gave me from Exxon. Worth several $100,000s.
That's not no money, my man.
But he started from his bootstraps, right? He's like, man, I had to pull myself up. And he was like, I was working for this guy and I wasn't even cashing my paychecks. I'm just putting my paychecks on the floor of my truck. And I didn't have any. He was like, man, I need $100,000 to invest in this deal. And I'm like, man, I don't have $100,000. All I got is these old stock certificates and all these uncashed paychecks. And I'm like, well, how am I going to get the money to invest in this deal? And this is how he became a millionaire, investing in these deals. So he said, well, I took the stock certificates and I called up a friend of mine and I said, hey, man, well, I don't have $100,000, but I got these stock certificates. Will you give me a loan against it? He said, I don't even need the stock certificates. I'll give you a $100,000 loan right now. That's access.
That is access.
So imagine that, right? So not only did you have
no collateral,
nothing, but that's a network effect, right? So I just told a story about our community didn't have $25,000.
Yeah, he calls up a friend and get 100 bands.
That's the difference, right? So if we're not investing in the companies of the future and we're not investing in ourselves, my children won't have that story. They won't be able to go, oh yeah, I just got this old Park Street certificate that's worth a couple $100,000. Now I can do that deal that I otherwise couldn't do. If we don't ever make that decision now, we don't have that wealth for the future. And that's typically what happens in our community is we burning the cash, right? We buying the belts, we buying the jeans, we doing the things, living the life now, sacrificing the future.
Showing money instead of growing money. That's
I like
all
that.
the way back, man.
I like that.
I think that's kind of crazy too, though, because I've also heard people who will come out their mouth and say, "Hey, my kids got to get it the way I get it." And I think that's a very selfish and sick mentality that people have. But there are a lot of people who be like, I can't take it with me. I'm gonna spend it while I got it.
My first boss was that way. I remember him saying that he's getting ready to retire. He's like, I'm gonna spend every single penny before I die. I'm not giving nothing to my kid. And brown person, you know, like, and I wonder if I don't think if it's just a brown person mentality, black and brown people, but it is definitely something that we got to undo. And I think the conversation we're having about getting people into that investor mindset, putting people in and letting them see it grow. Because most people that, whenever they come to me and talk about they want to invest, like, I'm not a wealth manager. I'm not this person. I can't do that legally for you, but I can tell you what I do. I can tell you how you can get started simply. It takes nothing for you to start dollar cost averaging $5, $10, $15, something that ain't gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And then you put it in something like NVIDIA, and you seen that you put $20 in NVIDIA, $100 in NVIDIA a couple years ago, and now you see that $100, $300. That changed your mind. So like, damn, maybe I shouldn't go buy this. Maybe I shouldn't. This money might serve me better if I take it and put it in the market or invest it into something like a Park Street Homes. So I'm glad that y'all offering that to people because we need to see more of that. But I do have some pushback with the whole crowdfund thing. Do y'all see any like hesitation from the community?
1,000%.
Because we seen some of these crowdfunds go wrong. Just speaking frankly, right?
Real. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, like, okay.
Get into it. Go ahead.
Talk about, that's
Bring it up.
names.
Into it. I love
the
it.
Tulsa Real Estate Fund.
Let's go.
Right? That's probably the biggest black eye on that whole.
And he raised $12 million.
$12 million. And when I last checked on it, I want to say they didn't even have $500,000 left liquid capital.
Listen.
And this is in the SEC filings.
Listen. The craziest part about it is, as a community, we like to invest in the same things that we buy, the things that feel good, right?
Flashy shit.
So if people showing us the Bentleys and showing us the Rolls Royces and, you know, hey, I got this, or you
because I remember his campaign.
You can have this plane, or you can buy, blah, blah.
I remember the ad that I seen. Black power couple from Atlanta purchases land to rebuild Black Wall Street. That was exactly what that shit said.
So, you know, the thing that I like to tell people is, are you looking at the actual expertise of the people that you're investing with, right? Because I think as a community, we tend to gravitate towards the people making promises. And this was one of my hardest things that I struggled with, not only when we started raising private capital, but also just in our day-to-day business, is we're not sexy, right? And I'm just being podcast transparent. We're not sexy. Don't drive a Bentley. We build real houses. Our money goes into our business and we put it in the product. So the lifestyle piece of it, right? You don't get that in real businesses. You don't see now, you know, you might see Jeff Bezos and them now, but what does everybody look at? That old
go look at him
when he was
10
at Amazon,
years ago, 15 years ago. Go look at what of course now he can afford the biggest yacht in the world, but look at what his company's doing now.
Like, people don't like a good business because a good business is a boring business, right? We like crazy, like, think about, everybody's talking about NVIDIA, but NVIDIA's been around 20 years.
Yep, I remember seeing them.
You don't remember seeing NVIDIA on your Xbox.
When I was a kid, I remember seeing NVIDIA.
People didn't think about it then. People weren't like, NVIDIA's amazing then.
Even microchips, that's like, microchips? Like, nobody was, even tech is now becoming sexy because of the lifestyle that people put out behind it. But a lot of people wasn't trying to get in tech. You talk coding, they think you're talking to
science nerd.
You a nerd.
We've established the not sexy part. So let's talk specifically about Black people in crowdfunds. And we talked about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Why was it so successful? It was great marketing plan.
That's it.
Building back
marketing.
the black community. They bought the black house. They did all the things. But did
Only
they
asset
actually
they
have
own
a
to this day.
plan to execute business? That's the thing that was missing. We as a community have to look at, do the actual operators of this business have a plan to operate the business? Or is this just, I think that we could do this thing and I don't have the skill set to do that thing, experience doing that thing, or I don't even have an underlying business to support the thing that I'm promising you. Tulsa Real Estate Fund didn't have an underlying operating business.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles in the overworld. Now for a limited time, you can get one of 6 McDonald's collectibles when you order a Minecraft movie meal. With your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce. Available now in a biome near you. Oh, and at your local McDonald's. I participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
They were like, hey, we're going to raise all this money. We're going to figure it out.
Without a board of directors,
exactly.
Of people that actually do it.
And actually, you know, the reality situation is their largest investor, Julian Gordon, was like 40 grand. So it's not individually, it wasn't a bunch of money.
Whenever you take it in context about the guy you just said, he needed $100,000 minimum to get in that deal.
And the craziest part about it is the damage that it does to our community is we lose faith.
That's the one right there.
In our organization. So we get those questions all the time. Is this a Tulsa real estate? No. We're an operating business that's been operating. And I'm 18 years in my career doing this for bigger, better companies that are already in the space. So the difference between us and a Tulsa real estate fund is we are in business. We're not a fund. I'm not going to buy some buildings. I'm not flipping. I'm not whatever. We build houses.
Y'all doing what y'all
We don't
already
build
doing.
rocket ships. We don't build cars. I'm not switching it up tomorrow. We ain't going to build boats next week. We build houses, and we're really good at it. And we're an award-winning home builder that's nationally recognized and literally has opportunities to scale across the country, which is something that we haven't seen from Black companies, right? It's an old space. People got to understand that making money is old, right? Marketing is new. So everybody looking at what they see on their phone, and they don't realize that the people who put the phone together and who making all this money from it, their businesses are real old. NVIDIA is real old. You know, Xbox real old. Like, these companies are long-term companies. Everybody looking at Amazon. Amazon's amazing company.
Started
It's been
in the
around
90s.
for a long time.
Started in the 90s.
And they didn't look like they look now.
Exactly.
Right? They were building. Even Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg ain't 19 no more.
Nah.
Mark Zuckerberg 40 like the rest of us. Like, you know what I mean? So these companies of our generation are now these long-term legacy plays. It takes a long time to build, to build wealth or to build a big company. These companies aren't new. We have to trust in the fact that we are capable. We have a history of building businesses, right? But those businesses aren't the ones that you see. You know, when Bob Johnson built BT, it wasn't sexy. You know, when a lot of our biggest companies, Robert Smith, now Arnya Leisure made Robert Smith high. Robert Smith been making money for a long time. Ain't nobody know his name. He had one of the biggest, most expensive weddings in the country. Nobody knew him.
Even R. Donahue Peoples.
Like,
there's a lot of stealthy, wealthy people.
And they're not stealthy. The people with money know who they are. We as a generation don't know.
That's a fact.
We waiting for, like, well, you ain't got this watch.
We're looking at them the same symbols. So historically, like in our community, we look at symbols of wealth as a lot of times, like I said earlier, showing wealth instead of growing wealth. That's why with our rappers and all them people, we think of these people as wealthy because they got the chains, they got this, and that's not necessarily the case. Like you're saying, the wealthiest people we've known this to be self-evident, but in the community is. And I don't think so many of the people listen to this pod is like the issue with that.
No.
I think the people that listen to this type of content and that consume this information, they might indulge, but they do so within reason. It's just that mental shift of like disassociating outward displays of wealth with what's actual wealth is.
Black people don't, and this goes back to the trust conversation. Black people don't trust people who don't look wealthy. Right? We don't look successful enough.
If you don't see it, you can't believe it.
Exactly. Like, are you really doing what you say you're doing? Somebody could be operating a business every day. We've had a lot of amazing opportunities to be around a lot of amazing business owners. So we went to this private, it was hosted by Chase, and it was a panel of Black business owners, right? And we were the smallest business in that room. Everybody around the room, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. The guy in the room who had the biggest, like literally size of his business, over $40 million a year, he was wearing overalls. Black guy. Owning like a construction.
I was about to say, what do you do? Is he like concrete or like farmer?
It was like industrial or commercial cleaning, maybe environmental stuff. Some boring business, $40 million a year.
Snatching up all the government contracts.
He ain't had no, he was wearing overalls. And he's like, I've been running my business 20 years.
Probably a big dusty truck too.
What up? But here's the thing. That has to become sexy now.
Yeah.
Because that's how we get over that kind of stigma. So if people go, oh, well, this is what happened with Tulsa Real Estate Fund, or this is what happened with whatever. Well, what are you looking at? Are you judging the business outcomes and what they're actually doing? Are you judging what you're seeing and investing in that? And we have to start investing in the actual product and the actual businesses, because there's great businesses. Black people are amazing. We have amazing businesses. But the reality of the situation is they tend to be not sexy.
I want to propose a question to you guys. Do you think Tulsa Real Estate Fund was a necessary evil?
No. I don't think it was necessary at all. I think it was the biggest finesse that got pulled on Black people in a time when Black people were finally waking up to the idea of investing, and it did way more harm than good.
I agree with that.
Okay, the reason why I asked that is because for me, I do agree with that point, but I also think that it was a wake-up call for people before a lot of other people like him got into the market, and then they didn't really do their due diligence. They didn't really look at these people. Now you could have 5 Tulsa real estate funds and all of these things collapse. And now I feel like that would have done more detriment than just the one. So that was the reason why I kind of proposed that question. I think you have to have accidents like that so you can learn from those mistakes.
Sure, if we learn, though, I think the hard part about that is like it took Fanbase 3 years to raise $10 million. And Fanbase got they're growing into $1 billion. You got the app on your phone. You know what I mean? Like, we're investors in Fanbase because we saw the opportunity. And literally, it's taken them 3 years to raise $10 million through 3 rounds. It shouldn't take all that. Like, our businesses, we have the money in our community. It shouldn't. But what happens is Tulsa Real Estate Fund and things like that, it puts this black eye on investing in Black folks. And we already don't trust each other as a people, right? So now you go, oh, anything real estate, I don't want to do it. Anything tech, I don't want to do it because such and such invested in this and that didn't go wherever. And I think we need to start having a real conversation about business in general. And then also we need to have a conversation about expectations of returns, because I think that the promise of gambling-like returns is a problem in our community. People want to hustle up money, and investing is a long-term thing. So you dollar cost averaging, that's a long-term play. You're not going to go from $1 invested in the market to $10 million overnight.
How that shit work.
That's not how that works. But we have those expectations. We want drug money. And people used to come with us all the day. Hey, look, all right, I'll put 5,000 in, but when I flip it, does it turn into 15? No.
5 to 15. Bro, you just asked for a 300% return.
But that's how people think about it. They like, well, such and such Joe Blow done the, like, maybe if he's selling kilos, we don't do that. Like, I can give you this 10 to 12%. Like, because the reality situation is business is not flipping money.
No.
And even the businesses that you see that make big returns, they have an underlying business model that was profitable for a very long time. Berkshire Hathaway don't flip money. That's not what they do. People keep thinking that like it's gambling or it's a game, and it's not. It's a long-term investment in the growth of an industry or a business over time. And that's how that guy with the checks in his, in his floor and the old Exxon 100 years ago was different than Exxon today. Mm-hmm. That took 100 years. People got to give a long enough window for these things to show themselves. But we're so deprived, and we think that like the income gap is based on like our investment is going to bridge that. So I need to make $100,000 a year. So I'm going to invest $10 today, and then that's going to get me to $100,000. That's not how that works.
No.
You get out what you put in for sure, for sure. But I definitely, that's a good conversation we're having right here. I kind of want to pivot now because we were talking about it a little bit earlier, right? Jalen, you alluded to some statistics. Right now, Black women are outpacing Black men in buying houses. Mm-hmm. You and a few other developers, investors, y'all came together and y'all working on a collective called Black Men Buy Houses. Can we talk about that soon?
Yeah. So, let me add to that statistic. All women are outpacing men in general.
Women in general, guys.
Black men are just at the bottom of that list because we were already at the bottom of the list from a home buying perspective anyway. So to give background, Black Men Buy Houses was a concept that I had in my mind back in 2021. And I literally had a vision and I said, I want to see 100 Black men in a room having a conversation that we never have. Because for me, and I don't know if I talked about this on the pod, but I had the opportunity to buy a house when I was 19. I didn't buy that house ultimately. And it took me 11 years before I bought my first house. Well, that's 11 years of wealth lost, right? That's over, $100,000 in equity or more that I didn't take advantage of. And I felt that. I feel that to this day, right? And the reality of the situation is a lot of us as Black men are very, very late to the game. And we're not recognizing how much we're leaving on the table by not buying. And it's different for us than it is for our white counterparts. It's different for us than it is for everybody else because we have a need for stability in our community that we don't see, right? And what buying a house gives you is essentially housing certainty, right? Where you know what your housing expense is going to be, you know where you're going to be. So you can now bet on your life and make long-term decisions. You can start that business. You can do these things because you have stability. We don't have stability and we don't have investment in our own communities. So we wonder why our communities look like crap. We don't own them. And that's the hard part is like when you don't own it, you don't care about it. Throw the trash on the ground, like whatever. And Black women are one of the biggest homeowners. Like they're buying in droves and we see it in our business. Hey girl, I'm gonna go buy this house. I'm gonna save my money. I'm gonna go buy this house. And taking a chance. When Aisha bought her house, 5 of her friends went and bought houses. They were literally like, oh girl, you did that? Let me go figure my stuff out too.
What do you think the disconnect is for Black men?
Our focus. We'll go buy a Hellcat. We got bad cars.
Man, let me just be 100% honest.
I already know what you're going to say.
We chasing pussy.
That's what I thought too. Like, there's a lot of brothers that's probably wasting money tricking or tripping behind a woman. I know I did it before.
Same. If you calculate all the money that you've probably tricked off, you probably got 3 down payments.
Oh yeah, if not more.
If you use the FHA loan, that's probably 10 down payments.
That's true. The craziest part about it is though, we can do both. You get the pussy and you get the house. It's not mutually exclusive.
That's
right?
A fact.
Like the reality situation is how we prioritize our money. It's never been easier to buy a house. No matter what they tell you, and I know news, you don't have to have a 20% down payment. You don't have to have a 10% down payment. It's like scholarships in college. You remember when you were in high school and you saw that one kid on the news, they got $150,000 in scholarships, and everybody, and you're like, oh man, I can't do that. And the website's been there the whole time, and millions of dollars go in scholarships, and nobody ever gets it. That's what buying a house is right now. There are so many opportunities there, funds, grants, mortgage programs, all these things out there for people to buy houses to just help people. And we don't take advantage of any of them. And we go, well, it's not big enough. It ain't your forever house. How big is your apartment?
Small.
Yeah, like, oh yeah.
No bigger than 800 square feet.
It's not on the right side of the town. Are you a man? Where do you need to live? We want everything right now. We want to live in the best part of town. It needs to be gated. It needs to be whatever. And it needs to be free.
And updated.
And the reality of the situation is our community wasn't always like that. This is a post integration mindset. Because
talk about that.
Pre-integration, when we had to buy a house, we didn't have the opportunity to rent.
You only had one side of town you could own in. You can't go across the railroad track.
And your granddaddy had to buy a house because he needed stability. Mm-hmm. And as a community, they gave us the freedom to move about the country. And they said, yeah, you can rent from us now. Pay us your money. Pay us your money forever. And what people don't realize is every year, if you're renting, you're paying 3 to 5% more in housing expense every year. And that doesn't include your moving expenses, right? So let's say you live in an apartment and the next year you get a 5% rent increase. You say, oh, I don't like that. Let me move. Well, how much is your moving expenses? Maybe that's $2-3 grand. Mm-hmm. How much is your rent increase? $2-3 grand. But that's how they get you. Thinking about, oh, I'm just about to eat this same cost and then go to the new spot that might be 3% more. And every year, so over the course of 10 years, you're paying 50% more in rent. Mm-hmm. And we're not thinking about that, right? When your first house does not have to be your last house. It's just the start. It's you starting that wealth gain. So that first house Aisha bought, she paid $90,000. She got $40,000 from, this is back when Obama and everybody was in office trying to push people in housing. She got $40,000 check when she bought it. We've owned that house as long as we've been together, and I'm on the deed and everything. Literally, that house has produced cash. We use that cash to start our business. That house still makes, after we took money out of it, $50,000 here, $50,000 here, that house still makes $700 a month.
The spirit of innovation is deeply ingrained in America, and Google is helping Americans innovate in ways both big and small. The Department of Defense is working with Google to help secure America's digital defense systems, from establishing cloud-based zero-trust solutions to deploying the latest AI technology. This is a new era of American innovation. Find out more at g.co/American innovation.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
So are y'all just putting it back in, paying off the collateral that y'all taking out of it?
No, it's cash flow. Because our mortgage is $700. Like, literally, we don't need to put the money back in. Mm-hmm. We updated the house. It has no capital expenditures. We have a very low, maintenance rate that we have to pay on it. And we have a tenant in place that's been in the house for 3 years. It's just cash flow.
So, Kevin, you said that whenever you're renting, right, you can expect to pay 3 to 5% a year. Mm-hmm. What do you say to people who are seeing the increase in their property taxes right now? Because that's probably another thing that's stopping people, right? They saying people not able to pay their taxes,
sure,
insurance and things of that
nature.
Now,
insurance is going crazy. That is definitely a thing. So I'm not going to make any qualms about the fact that insurance isn't going crazy right now, and property taxes are a thing. But property taxes are also a sign of appreciation. Right? So it's also, again, how we spend our money. Most properties have their property taxes escrowed, right? So maybe that minimizes your cash flow if you're renting it out. But if you're living in it, you can write off the taxes. You can, not the taxes, but you can write off what you pay to your mortgage, right? So you're writing off your mortgage expense. to a degree.
You can't do that with your rent. Yeah,
you can't do that with your rent. But if you operate a business, your business has expenses too. So you're offsetting the profits of your business by the expenses. So, it's a horse trade.
The tax benefits kind of outweigh the property taxes in a sense.
And also, would you tell people, just to kind of calculate for that kind of increase with property taxes?
I think that people are paying the money either way. It's just what you choose to pay the money on. We want more money in our pocket. And a lot of times that's a short-term mindset, right? So you have to look. I didn't say that our property taxes didn't increase on all of our properties across the board. I didn't say our insurance rates didn't increase, but that's also an expected expense. Because the reality of the situation is, do we want access to the appreciation? Do we want access to own this thing for long term? It costs money. Owning a house is not free. Let me be clear. But you will gain more over time. And you're also... The interest rate on rent is 100%. It's infinity. Because you're just paying somebody else's bills. So no matter what, you might not be feeling the tax payment, but it's in there. Yeah. You might not be feeling that insurance payment, but it's in there. Because your landlord going to go, my taxes went up 5%. Yeah. My insurance went up 3%.
We're living at apartments. New owners equal higher rent every time.
Hey, we got to come in here and paint.
Rent increased $300.
They do a little minor upgrade and start charging.
And you're not building anything along the way. So I think we really got to start having a conversation about, what do we want? Do we want our money now? Or do we want to build actual wealth? Because the reality of the situation is, everybody telling you to not buy a house, everybody telling you, oh, that's the worst investment. They're telling you from a perspective of, I got money over here and I don't want to spend my money on that. And most people don't have money over here. They don't have an underlying business that they're building. They don't have an underlying high income. People like, oh, Grant Cardone don't buy his house. Grant Cardone's business does. And he rents the house from the business. But they ain't talking about Grant Cardone owns his business. Like, and think about this. People got to really think about this. Grant Cardone owns a plane. You think he don't own a bunch of properties too?
That's a fact.
So, like, what are we talking about?
And he in the real estate business.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, Grant Cardone don't own the house that he live in. Well, his tax strategy might be different than yours, because Grant Cardone got a couple $100 million. It's a different play. People have to play with the strategies based on where they are. Not these people they looking at on the internet. Your tax strategy is not Kevin Hart's tax strategy. You don't have Kevin Hart's money. And when Kevin Hart was broke, he had a different strategy than he does now. Because access opens up when you play different levels of the game. But you got to play the game first. You can't go out here and think, oh yeah, 5 things rich people do. You not rich. So first off, start on income. Maximize your income. If that's a job, maximize your job. Do the best that you can do. Make the most money you can. Then start investing. Once you start investing, own something. Like, don't go to the top and then make your decisions when you're not there. Start working the steps. The steps are there, right? The first thing you can do is stabilize your housing expense. I tell people all the time, you got good credit, you got a reasonable small amount of money for a down payment or whatever, start working towards home ownership, because that at least stabilizes your housing expense. And then you use that as a foundation to build from there. And then people go, oh, I want to buy an investment property first. How? $500 a month of cash flow ain't going to help you if your rent expense is higher than that. You're not offsetting anything. You're just spending your money a different way.
That's good ideology right there.
And, you said something whenever you were saying everybody talking about not buying a house right now. It made me think about crypto right now, right? So we seeing Bitcoin climb back up. 2-3 years ago, everybody, man, don't buy that shit. Don't buy that shit. That was the perfect time to buy.
Yeah.
Whenever everybody's saying not to buy is usually the time whenever you should probably run to that market.
I think people need to make decisions on what their actual plan is, not what the internet says.
Ooh.
Like, people got to stop clickbaiting their life. It don't make no sense. Like, I'm not making longer. I remember years ago, somebody asked me something about, this is when we first made the decision of real estate. So before we started our business, I had a photography company with my best friend. And I remember I had a conversation with him. I said, hey, we've been studying real estate. We're starting our business, and I'm getting out of this business. I'm done. And he was like, well, why? I said, because I'm focusing on real estate. And then somebody asked me, oh, well, are you going to do this other strategy? Or are you going to try this? Or are you going to try this? Or I said, no, I'm on real estate, and I'm going to be on real estate because that's my long-term decision. So just because the weather changed, I ain't going to change my strategy. Like with Park Street, we build homes. Mm-hmm. We're not going to build nothing else tomorrow. We're going to keep getting better building what we do because that's what we do. We're a home builder. I'm not going to go, tomorrow we build McDonald's. That's not how that works, right? And focus is very important. So when people think about all these strategies, if you want to invest in Bitcoin, like have a strategy for yourself. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got this amount of money that I can speculatively invest, and I don't know where it's going. Like, I can't say that I believe or don't believe in Bitcoin, but after I researched, I said, well, I can bet this small amount of money. Here, yeah. And I did that. And I don't look at it. So if Bitcoin's at 40 or Bitcoin's at 100, I put what I could put there to feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And it's the same. Investing is the same way. Don't invest thinking that, hold on. And Aisha always gets mad at me because I'm one of them type of people. It's like, you go to the gym and then you look in the mirror. Yeah. And that's what people invest, right? Like I go to the gym, I do like 45 minutes hard. And I look at me, I'll be like, ooh, I made some gains. She'd be like, no, you didn't. That's what investing is like. It's not how that works.
You're not going to see the results right away.
And it's the same thing with home ownership. My mother bought a house 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. She didn't see the results for 30 years, but that $30,000 house is now worth $400,000. And she sold it to us at 2. So understand, 30 years, sold it to your son at 2. That $200,000 is a gift to me. That's equity. That's inheritance. She could give me, she ain't had no trust for me. But she could give me an opportunity. We had to buy it. It wasn't free.
But that's still even better than her doing a reverse mortgage and them taking it once she passed.
There we go. So the reality of the situation is...
That's a good strategy. I feel like more black people need to implement that.
And then I didn't want to fight with my brother about it. I didn't want to fight with my sister about it. I wanted to have the opportunity and I had to pay for it.
But you put money in your mom's pocket, so now when she's retired in 08, she has some income.
And guess what? When my mama's retired, she's been retired. We got to take care of my mama. So we gonna tear the house down, build our next house. And literally she gonna live with us. And that's a strategy too, because the reality of the situation is we're gonna have to take care of our parents too. That's a part of it too. And we're the sandwich generation. We got kids and we got parents that we got to do for both. And that's kind of the burden of our age group. But the reality of the situation is all this stuff is coming anyway. Mm-hmm. Like either the economy going to go up and down anyway. Stock market going to go up and down anyway. Like hurricanes going to happen anyway. All this stuff is going to happen anyway. So you might as well own your house. Mm-hmm. So you have this safe hedge. My mortgage $1,500. Because when interest rates are down, I refinanced 2%. I can hustle up $1,500. It's a safe hedge. And yeah, my taxes go up, so that $1,500 next year might turn to $1,700. I'll be all right.
But still, I mean, you look at it like I'm in an apartment. My rent is comparable to what you pay for a mortgage,
but
right?
Now, think about it, and we've been in our house almost 8 years. Now, buying the same house, I would pay $150,000 more because housing is more expensive. Mm-hmm. So what you think it's going to be 10 years from now? Less expensive?
Nah.
So when you're not buying and you're saying, I can't afford to buy, you think you're going to be able to afford to buy 10 years from now?
You're bringing up a good question, Kevin. So a lot of people speculating on a real estate market crash.
Sure.
I personally don't believe that that's a possibility with the market factors. What do you say to those people that's waiting for a crash?
Look at construction costs. It costs more today to build a house than it did 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Where's the crash in that? So physically building your house costs more. It's only so much margin in anything.
Then you also have the scarcity factor with that as well.
And the reality of the situation is people are betting that think about it like this. I can go to the car dealership and I say, all right, look, this car costs $40,000. I want to pay you 10. Well, they got a cost basis on that car.
They're going to laugh your ass out that dealership. What they going to do?
But they got a cost basis. They can't lose that much money on the car, right? Like maybe they bought it for 30 and they had a $10,000 margin in that car. They can't sell it to you for 10. So the reality of the situation is housing costs money. And when people go, oh, I'm looking for a crash, I'm waiting on foreclosures, keep waiting. We haven't seen it. And, you know, there was something that was supposed to happen at the tail end right before COVID, and it was supposed to start with the baby boomers selling off their houses. And COVID kind of killed that because what happened was all these big 3,000-4,000 square foot suburban homes, there was a point where baby boomers were supposed to transition them to
like downsize.
The big wealth, transfer of wealth.
And it did not happen. Why? Because COVID came and space was a commodity. So now all these retirees are like, I'm going to keep my 4,000 square foot house because I don't want to be out here in 1,100 square feet next to my neighbor and they coughing on me, right? So they're afraid. So now that pushes us as a generation into smaller houses. But I'm a student of history. Houses started off smaller. So that first house that Aisha bought is 1,200 square feet. Houses are going back that way because generationally, that's the only way that we can compete with the price point, right? So you got to be real creative. So if you ever look at like what Techie Homes is doing in Atlanta, why are they building 400 square foot houses? Because that's the only way to make that house cost $200,000. And yeah, you got to walk in the rain, and yeah, you got to do whatever.
400.
I'm glad you're bringing this up because that was the question I had.
Damn. Go ahead.
So my question was the stigma with affordable houses, right?
Sure.
So whenever people hear affordable houses, they think of exactly what you're talking about. Oh, the home is going to be smaller. I'm getting less value for this. And then you're also bringing a certain type of people to the neighborhood whenever you quote unquote build affordable houses. What is your rebuttals to that? And how do you kind of, change people's mindset on that?
So affordable houses has a really bad stigma, like you said, but people need to detach affordability from low income because what they think is Section 8.
Yes.
And they're thinking like New York, project.
Marcy projects.
And that's that. So like affordable LA. Housing or workforce housing is not low income housing. Those are different things. And I say this all the time, as stuff gets more expensive, everybody falls into a version of the affordability spectrum, right? So we build houses at 120% of the area median income. The area median income in Houston is like $80,000 or something like that. And I don't have the exact numbers. So 120% of that, right, for family size is literally a family of one, 120% of the area median income, which actually I take that back. I think it's like 60 grand. 120% is $79,000 for a single person. Or $79,000 for 2023 for a single person. For a family of two, it's like $85,000, right? $85,000 is not low income. That ain't Marcy Projects level income, right? So if you're a nurse, you could make 80 grand and buy one of our affordable houses, right? If you're a pharmacy tech or if you're a manager at a Ross, so like, people got to think about it from a perspective of how much house can I afford? Because that's what your payment's going to be, especially when stuff costs more money. The day of $500 mortgage payments is gone because interest rates are too high and stuff costs too much. So you're going to pay $11, $12, $13, $14, $15, $1,700 a month in some type of housing payment, right? So based on your family size and how much you make, if you got a family of four, 120% is over $100,000. You can still buy and get an opportunity affordable. Is it smaller? Sometimes, but sometimes not. I think that as a society, we also got very, very used to cheap, big things. And we didn't recognize that the fact that that's a very hard thing to come by now. Like I said, physically building the house costs more money. So we can't build the 4,000 square foot McMansions that we used to in the suburbs for $100,000 because wood costs more. The lumber package on the house might cost $70,000. Like you can't do those things. So we got to get more comfortable with the fact that things are going back smaller in order to make it more affordable. That's the only way that we get there. And when I look at how to tackle affordability,
McDonald's meets the Minecraft universe with one of 6 collectibles and your choice of a Big Mac or 10-piece McNuggets with spicy Nether Flame sauce. Now available with a Minecraft movie meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time, a Minecraft movie only in theaters.
Lowe's is the destination for Ego outdoor power equipment this spring. See what's new and exclusive, like the 17-inch string trimmer with Line IQ technology that auto-feeds to save you time. And the 22-inch Select Cut self-propelled mowers with a multi-blade system for precise cutting. Shop Ego Days, happening now during Spring Fest at Lowe's. We help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
I look at it from a 4-pronged solution. We need creative solutions. So that's where the techie homes, 400 square foot comes in. So how big is an efficiency apartment? 400, 500 square feet? That's equivalent to that, but you can still own it, right? You'll see big builders doing like 800, 900, 1,000 square foot with a single car garage. That's a version of that too. That's how you get those price points down. Smaller, bigger houses, right? So like big now to us might be 2,100 square feet, 2,200 square feet, not 5,500 square feet with a theater room. That might be harder to achieve for a lower price. You're going to pay a premium for that. So in the city of Houston, if you want something over 3,500 square feet, it costs you $1 million. $1 million. And I have friends looking for stuff all the time. $1 million flat. Boom. You want to live in the city? All right, cool. Now you can go up to suburbs and get something for maybe 500-600. But you're an hour away from the city. So, that's a trade-off.
Give and take, yeah.
And then the fourth part of that is we have to maximize the benefit of our governments, right? So after World War II, that's when we first saw the suburban boom. That's when HUD put a lot of money to underwrite, and excluding a lot of Black people, mind you, underwrite the development of the middle class and create essentially what we see now in suburbs and infrastructure came from all the GIs coming home after World War II and using their GI Bill to buy houses. And HUD basically underwrote loans for all these big developers to build all these housing developments on a sprawl. We're at that point now where with that 7 million home shortage, we need some intervention from the government to make things more affordable. And that's honestly what we do and where our opportunity is. Because for us, we partner with local city governments to build housing that is affordable, right? And I'll take the name off, affordable housing, not affordable housing, but housing that is affordable to people, that is attainable to some. And we utilize land that either they give us at a very discounted rate or they subsidize to do it. So that's what takes that price point down from me charging you $400,000 to me charging you $200,000 because somebody's injecting that $200,000. It still costs that. It ain't free.
Yeah.
But somebody else is writing that check. And that's also where we're losing as Black people, because if we're not taking advantage of these programs, we're leaving money on the table. It's that $150,000 from the scholarships that we're leaving on the table. And it's always been there. Government's always been underwriting housing. Government wants you to own. They incentivize you to own real estate and a business. But if you don't use those things to your advantage, you just spending money. You paying a 30% tax rate and all your money going out the window and you don't get nothing back and you don't own nothing.
That's good. Speaking of those grants, if y'all was tuned into the Black Wealth Renaissance email list, you'd have got 15 homebuyer grants this week.
There we go.
So y'all make sure y'all join our email.
Join that newsletter, man.
Shameless plug.
No, I mean, this is all the stuff that we need. So getting back to Black men buy houses, why is this initiative so important? Because we're the odd men out, right? And you think about it, and we were talking about marriage and stuff before the pod. Think about it like this. Let's say you get with a chick, right? And y'all get pregnant. Now, she got a good job. She got her own house. She got all of her stuff together. And you live in an apartment, maybe you got a nice car, but you don't own nothing. And y'all get pregnant. and you start tripping, y'all start getting into it, who the first man out?
You.
Why?
Because you don't own shit.
And now she got the house, the car, the good job, and the baby.
And then your ass on child support.
So if we don't have any stake in our communities and we don't have any stake in our relationships, we put ourselves in a vulnerable position across the board. And you wonder why Black men in droves are less wealthy, right? Less stable. We can't start the businesses. Black women start businesses. They're the number one entrepreneurs.
Fastest growing segment of entrepreneurs.
They're the number one educated. So we're uneducated. And not talking about Black men. I'm a Black man, but we're the least educated. Starting to make lower incomes because our counterparts are more educated and more gainfully employed, right? And we don't own nothing. We boxing ourselves out of our own relationships, out of our own communities. And that's creating a huge, huge gap in the dating pool. It's creating a huge, huge gap in the wealth between us as a couple. Because if she got $100,000 net worth and you got a negative $10,000 net worth, why would I get with you?
Don't make sense.
And we talk about what women bringing to the table. What are we bringing to the table? Like, we don't got no
That's
table.
Funny you say that. That's a number one conversation dudes having, but
we don't got no fucking table.
If you renting everything, you don't own no goddamn stocks. You ain't got no goddamn. What are you talking about right now,
You buy
brother?
dinner, great. Because you ain't got a mortgage. The girl got a mortgage. Of course we buying dinner. We got flexible income. We doing shit with our money. So yeah, we can buy dinner. And that's a finesse, sure. But it would be real easy to say, hey, baby, I got to cook you dinner at my house instead of taking you to Cheesecake Factory because I got this mortgage to pay. I'm quite sure women would find that way more. Even if, I'll tell you this, you could have the worst house in the hood, but if you own it, it's yours. Can't nobody come take it away. Can't nobody tell you the baddest girl in the world. If she don't own nothing, she can't tell you shit because you own it.
I need the ladies to chime in. Ladies, can the fellas still get the ass if they focused on assets? I need to know.
I like that.
Ooh, that's a bar. That's a bar.
That's what we need to know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because
y'all drop that in the show notes.
You wild.
I just want to see the answers.
But no, because like really thinking on it though, because if we over here spending all our money on all this other stuff, like you're saying, Kevin, and you're not focused on building, I do think that I'm a single young man, you know, women are attracted to that mindset. Like, regardless of what it is, like, they be like, oh, you different. You're not trying to do this and be all in everybody's face and do all these things. You have a plan. A plan is attractive. So I think you onto something there. You onto something.
I mean, this ain't new. This is what our grandfathers did. This is what our great uncles did. They came back from World War II and bought some shit. Even though the government didn't help them, right? Like, our ancestors built our communities. All the Black neighborhoods, the majority of the Black neighborhoods, I won't say all, were built by the people who lived in those communities. And they'll tell you the stories of it, right? It's not like, this isn't some fictitious,
magical.
Like these are folks who built where we call the hood today. That was JoJo's mama and them's lifetime investment. You know, Miss Smith's and the rest of the families on the block, they built these communities. We're just going back to them trying to own it. And I said this before, if you want to buy, let's say you have no money, and I tell people this all the time and nobody ever takes the advice, but whatever. Let's say you have no money, but you want to figure out how to own something. Go back to these Black communities. Talk to these old folks. They will help you. They will give you an opportunity. And I think we talked about it. There was another guy, I think we had it on our podcast, where he did the same thing in like a small town in Louisiana. Somebody owner financed him like a multifamily property. Because the people who came before us want to help us. They want to see us succeed. Why would they throw it on the ground? Like, why would they burn their own legacy? But we got to step up to the plate. We got to want it. Right now, we want what's sexy. We spending $300 a weekend in the club. We got fresh. J's cost $300. You telling me you don't have a deposit for a house? J's, everybody got the brand newest J's. Off-white, whatever, Rolex is what I see all the things.
You cop a pair every month. That's $3,600 right there.
Oh my God. I don't even know how they do it. Look,
Clarinet.
I just can't see. I'm like, bro,
Afterpay.
Look, I can't. Jeans cost $1,500. Who the fuck spending $1,500 on jeans? I wear Levi's jeans.
I'm going to Ross. I'm going to TJ Maxx and find those Levi's half off.
But like you said, a lot of times whenever people spending money on shit like that, they not focused on the assets.
No.
It's chasing
ass
How
over
does
ass.
get you ass?
Ooh,
let's change the
assets
narrative.
Get you ass.
Assets get you ass.
Stop being one of them homosexual ass niggas. I hate them niggas. You know what I'm talking about? The dudes that they go stay up with a woman, lay up on their couch.
Oh, it's tax time too, ladies.
Look,
don't be bamboozled.
Listen,
it is tax time.
You know, the saddest part about that is it truly creates a culture where we prey on our own women because they got the stuff. So we need a place to stay because we ain't got no place to stay. So we laying up with a woman. Oh, oh man, she got a nice car. I'm gonna drop her off at work. Where your car? Where your job? You playing video games all goddamn day. We got to get back to being men in our own communities.
Go get some calluses on your hands.
Like, bro, do something. That's what Black Men Buy Houses is about. It's a conversation from men to men. It's just us talking to us about what the fuck we need to be doing. Because this is truly our job. If we can't be the anchors of our own communities, if we can't be the bedrock of our families, we're losing across the board. And that's what this last, since the 80s and crack, that's what it's been. And our communities have been decimated because of it. So Black men got to get back to being Black men. We got to get back to leading our people, leading our neighborhoods, leading our families, and stepping up to the plate. And that starts with ownership, whether the assets, before the ass, assets before the ass, so we can get the ass and pay for it. We making these babies. Let's have a roof to put them under. Let's have some stuff to give them when they grow up. Let's step back into the shoes that our grandfathers had, because that's the way that we get back to a place of building Black wealth. That wealth gap is never going to close if we don't own anything. It's never going to close.
You just invoked a thought in my head, right? Whenever you're talking about Black men need to get back to the patriarchal, figure. I think a reason that a lot of Black men don't do that is they're afraid because it's hard. But I want you to know it's going to be hard. Like, you just got to accept it.
It is hard.
Like, once you're the foundation, I heard someone else say that, once you're the foundation, you are there to take all of the stress, right?
Yep.
The foundation takes the stress of the house.
Takes the weight.
Everything that is built on top of that foundation, you have to bear that load. But once again, that's why you have to exercise. That's why you have to exercise mentally, financially, spiritually, so you can bear that weight and you can take on those things. So just get it out your head. It's going to be hard. But
being broke is hard too.
And that's a fact.
Don't sitting on somebody's couch.
That shit demoralizing.
Like, bro, I can't see it.
I would be depressed. See myself living like that. Like pillar to post, relying on a woman to take care of everything that you need in your life.
Yeah, nah.
That shit sound like
imagine
depression.
going to ask your lady for like $20 to get your hair cut. Hey, babe, I gotta go get.
You're a fucking child.
I'm just saying, yo, babe, I gotta go get my hair cut. I need to go put gas in the car. What are we talking about? And I could see if you're trying to do something, or you're building something or whatever, but no, that don't make no fucking sense.
Let me get $40 to buy some V-Bucks for my 2K mod player.
Listen, whenever, and this is, I'll probably get canceled for this. Whenever I see a man standing on the corner and he's full of tattoos, I have a huge problem with that.
Why?
Tattoos are extremely expensive.
You ain't lying on that.
You got $3,000 worth of tattoos on your body and you stand in the corner asking me for $1. I got a problem with that. Because there's a $20 yard you can go cut, bro. We got to get back to doing some stuff. As men, actually doing some things. But you can't ask these women to submit to us when we don't submit to ourselves. When we don't show up for ourselves. You won't go cut the fucking grass for yourself. It's raining. What are you talking about? Somebody fought some wars. Like, what are we
in the rain, in the mud?
What are we talking about? So, I think the softening of our society starts with the men. And the reality of the situation is, until we get stronger and hold each other up, this is not about us just leaving each other by ourselves. It's a supportive thing. Black Men Buy Houses is about black men. Hey, black men, buy houses. It's a verb. Do something. Mm-hmm. And the reality of the situation is, this is the conversation we need to be having, because this is the conversation women having. Like I said, when Aisha bought her house, 5 of her friends bought a house. I don't have a group of friends, or I didn't at the time, that were going, hey man, you trying to buy a house? Like, yo man, what's the stock market looking like? Like, those conversations weren't happening. Now we talk about what's popping at the club. You got that 2K?
You got the baddest chick, yeah.
Man, you got that new J. Cole. Like, we talk about everything else but the money. Are you maximizing your job? Yo, man, you get that promotion? You grinding? You starting that business? Like, our conversations internally are not positive. They on some bullshit. The stuff that we focus on, the stuff that we talk about is not helping us. It's just pushing us down and down. And these stats come out and they say, oh yeah, women and men. And we go,
The women don't want to submit to us no more.
Yeah, look, it's a feminist society.
I'm getting my passport, bro.
It's like, why are women the highest educated? Because we dropping out of school.
Once again, because it's hard. Because you want to party, prioritize pussy, and drop out.
And I mean, and we've all been there. We all had that girlfriend that had her shit done and come over your house and your homework not done.
And you just push that shit off to the back.
You cool. You like, oh yeah, babe, let me get in the bed with you. Yeah. And my shit ain't done. We got to get our homework done first. Because the women doing their work.
That's a fact.
And we not. So, Black Men Buy Houses.
So, yeah, speaking of Black Men Buy Houses, I know you said Aisha, she's in North Carolina right now.
She is.
For an event. Y'all are doing another event in Houston soon, right?
We are. So we did our first inaugural event last year, and we had over 900 men register, over 300 men in the room. It was a beautiful experience. This year, we're expecting 1,500.
Sheesh.
And we literally had brothers lined down the block as early as 10 a.m., 2 hours before the event, from old to young, to get this information. So obviously we need it, and nobody's talking to us about how to buy, what to buy, where to buy, what that process looks like. Nobody's having this conversation. So that's why we really wanted to have it. And we embarked on a national tour with NARAB, which is the National Association for Black Real Estate Brokers. And literally, that's the largest Black real estate organization in the country, the oldest as well. And that message is going around from town to town, 9 different cities, over 60 cities in total they're doing, and we're having Black Men Buy Houses panels. But our biggest event is right here in Houston. So that'll be May 11th, and we want all the brothers. It's free. I don't want $20 tickets.
No
excuse. Brothers from getting this information. Let the sponsors cover the tickets. This is about us. This is about us having a conversation. This is about us having the ability to ask the questions. Hey, my credits are 500. Can I still buy? Or what's the process to get myself in line? Right? Hey, I got $5,000. I got $200. How do I start? Right? How do I take the next steps? Who do I talk to? Who should I be connected with? How do you get around a group of men who are having the housing conversation? This is about that. And that's what we had last year. We had a great panel. Shout out to Chris Senegal, Tyron, Malachi.
BWR alumni, you know what I'm saying?
Like all my boys. Matt Hatter came out, and we are so excited. Andre Barad. Like, literally, we had an amazing panel. And this year we have even, more star-studded panel. I'm excited. We'll be announcing some speakers soon because I want the brothers to get inspired and educated and start having that conversation about financial literacy, about taking the next steps, about owning stuff, about being that foundation and bedrock in our communities. Because, I know, and there's a lot of conversation about buy the block. Let's just start with buy one house. Buy one house on the block. and live in that house. And we can start rebuilding our communities that way. Because everybody might not be in a position to invest. Everybody might not be in a position to become a business owner. But every single person can buy a house.
I love it. I love it. Let us know how we can help you guys out with that, my brother.
No, we already locked in.
Look, we already got you.
That's a bet. And then I also want to bring up another event that's happening for Black men later this year, September 27th and 28th in Atlanta, Georgia. We are hosting the 3rd annual Black Men Summit. We are back. Pre-sale tickets are now live. You can go to blackmensummit.com and get those pre-sale tickets. Once again, this is something that we put together to show Black men how to be Black men, how we can lead. Last year, we were focusing on kingship. This year, we're focusing on building brotherhood, right? How can we make each other stronger as men? How can we actually get that iron to sharpen iron? How can we hold each other accountable? How can we be camaraderie? How can we do all of these things and actually build a brotherhood? That's what we're going to be doing this year. I would love to see if we can get you guys integrated in it.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Y'all gonna let me talk about some housing on that.
Hey, that's a bet. That's a bet. Hey, so y'all heard it here. Like, once again, Black Men Summit, Atlanta, Georgia, September 27th and 28th. We will see you guys there. We got the location on lock already. It's going crazy. I just want y'all to know, year 3, bigger and better.
Bigger and better than ever. Yes, sir. So
it's the year of Black
said,
men.
I like that. The year of Black men. Blackmensummit.com. Y'all grab y'all tickets and
how
make
can
sure
they get
y'all pull
tickets?
up on Black.
Yeah, how can they get their tickets?
So Eventbrite, we're gonna put the tickets up on Eventbrite. NARAB's Building Black Wealth Tour for all your local cities. We still got a lot of cities to hit. We'll be in Atlanta. We'll be in Miami, I believe. We'll be in DC. We'll be in LA. So we have we'll be in New York. We have some amazing cities that will hit. So that's NARAB, NAREB, Building Black Wealth Tour. You can Google it, check the website. And those are free tickets as well. And then blackmenbuyhouses.com is going to be our website. It'll be a resource hub. So literally people will be able to go find a realtor, go find a lender. But Eventbrite is where you'll be able to get your tickets to Black Men Buy Houses 2024. We're super excited.
Awesome. Hey, my brother. Awesome. This was a great pod. I appreciate your time today. Once again, let them know how they can follow you on social media and just tap in with anything else that you got going on.
No, for sure. So find me, Kevan, Kevan Shelton, on all social media platforms. Our company is Park Street Homes. You can invest in real estate for as little as $500. So don't let that be an excuse. Invest in equity in, not only your future, but the future of our country, because that's what we do. We build houses. And that's probably the easiest way. I got to shout out my lovely better half, Aisha Shelton, AYESHA, Shelton, on all social media platforms. And yeah, man, that's it.
Hey, man, I appreciate
I love y'all partnership so much, dog. I appreciate you joining us again, Kevin. This has been
Thank you for having me. I love these. We got to do these more.
We definitely got to do these more often.
Exactly. Like I said, we're going to be back in the Creators Guild. And shout out to the Creators Guild hosting us here in Texas, man. A dope studio. Got to meet the brother that runs this joint. So this is going to be, we're going to get
shout out to the guild.
Shout out to the team. Once again, this was an early morning pod. We appreciate them for getting this going for us. The energy's been amazing. I love it, dog.
Yes, sir. So just to get into it, wrap this thing up, guys, as always, y'all make sure y'all leave us that 5-star rating and review. Helps us grow the show. And again, we want y'all to sound off. Ladies, I asked y'all the question. Don't be shy. And I want y'all to answer that question for me. Ass and assets. We need that.
We forgot standing on business.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a new segment. I can't let you leave without.
Let's do it.
I can't let you leave without doing it. So we're gonna rewind, bring this thing back. We do have our section presented to you guys by the Private Small Business Society.
I love it.
Standing on business.
Standing on business.
Questions pulled up. So this is a little game segment of the show. We're gonna ask you 5 questions.
All right.
So the very first question, this is just to test business acumen. Which of the following is a key component of effective marketing?
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 3 choices. Choice A, focusing solely on traditional advertising. Choice B, ignoring online marketing channels. Or choice C, understanding and targeting the right audience.
C.
Hey, I love it. 1 for 1. Let's go.
Yeah, you got it.
it?
I got no questions pulled
Okay.
up yet. I'm looking for them.
Second question that I got. Which financial statement provides a snapshot of a company's financial position at a specific point in time?
Okay.
You need me to repeat that or you got it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Is it A, income statement,
Okay.
B, cash flow statement, or C, balance sheet?
Balance sheet.
No hesitation. That's what I'm talking about.
Kevin ain't playing with you. I don't know why. This is about to be a 5 for 5, man.
Big business. Let's see. Which of the following is an example of a tangible asset? A, brand reputation, B, patents, or C, manufacturing equipment?
B, patents.
I said tangible.
Patent is tangible.
It's intellectual.
Oh, okay. So what was the third option?
Manufacturing equipment.
Oh, okay. Then that's C.
Hey, sorry, I had to hit you with a little trick.
Look,
Okay,
so question
you got
3.
you got to start asking final answer.
Okay, yeah.
Like game show.
Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
Question 3. In a SWOT analysis, what does the O stand for?
Opportunities.
Ooh. Let's go.
Just let it go, man.
And then let's see what's gonna be this last.
So where we at right now?
We're
4.
Yeah, 4.
I'm 3 for 4.
3 for 4. Okay.
Last question, final question. What is the primary purpose of a business plan? A, to guide the operational strategy of the business. B, to keep track of employment performance. Or C, to calculate the exact profit margin.
A.
There we go.
Hey,
thank you for playing.
You already know what I'm saying.
Thank you for playing, standing on business with us, my
That's
brother.
what I'm saying. And that segment is brought to you by the Private Small Business Society. PSBS is for short. And what it is a certification and community for for small business owners, offering education, over thousands of hours of education, a community of over 2,000 business owners. And they also offer education and certification processes for small businesses so that we can operate at the highest level and have that level of acumen. Think of it like a vocational business school. So if you're interested in that, click the link in the show notes or go to thepsbs.com. Shout out to the Private Small Business Society for sponsoring that segment of the show.
I ain't got nothing else, my brother.
Support small businesses.
Yes, sir.
It is the backbone to the American economy.
That's a
Big
fact.
facts. And we can end it right there, man. Again, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. This is David with Black Wealth Renaissance.
Signing out. Peace.
McDonald's has entered a Minecraft movie universe, and Grimace, Birdie, and Hamburglar just spawned as new collectibles as part of a Minecraft movie meal with your choice of Big Mac or 10-piece chicken McNuggets with spicy nether flame sauce.
Participate in McDonald's for a limited time. A Minecraft movie only in theaters.